Okay.
Hi everyone, thank you for taking time to be together for this special workshop on this lovely Saturday morning. So although we are constricted by the situation where we cannot be together, so we can't have any physical interactions, I hope we can still learn and have fun together through the wonders of technology. So how is everyone feeling right now?
Okay.
Good.
Okay,
Great.
hope everyone had your cup of coffee already, so wide awake. And everyone's ready for our Play Bubbles all day session. So like the topic, we are going to be playing with bubbles, just like the children. And let's get right into it, okay? So does everyone have your blank papers and your markers ready? All right, that's good. Before we start with the first part, can I just ask, why do you think our children loves to play bubbles so much?
It is fun.
Okay.
Because it can pop.
Children can blow them. It can be either big or small.
That's true, possibly. Now, I like all the ideas, and probably children will also have some other ideas, right? Can I just ask, in your papers, I'll give you a short time. Write as many words as you can that you can think about when I say the word bubbles. You can draw images, you can write, it can be in a mind map. So when I say the word bubbles, what are some of the words that you can think about? Okay, let's start now. All right, about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Okay, I see that everyone's ready. That's good. It's okay. What you're going to do now is I'm going to ask each of you to take turns and share a little bit about the words that you have written about bubbles, and we're going to share your thoughts with the whole group. Okay, so let's start with Christine. What are some of your thoughts?
So actually, bubbles can be used, can be made from soap, and it can be big and small, and there's actually ant bubbles.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Can we ask the next person, Lillian?
Okay, so for mine will be bubbles. It will float away. It will pop. It's fun, and it's also soapy.
Wonderful. And let's have Pooh. How about you?
For mine is you can see bubbles both in water and air, and also bubbles are big when there's more air inside.
Wonderful. All right, not to worry, we're not having a test. I think all of you have very interesting ideas that we can look further into. I like how Pooh mentioned about bubbles from soap, yet Christine mentioned that bubbles can be from water. And Lillian shared that it will pop. All these are correct, and I think these are what we have observed so far. But have you ever wondered what the difference are between bubbles in water and then bubbles in soap? So we just take it for granted, right? But now today, what we're going to do is we are actually going to look into these bubbles. Now, remember the pamphlet that I passed to you that it listed a few materials that you will need to prepare. Have you got them? And it's placed right in front of you. So what you're going to do is put them in front and make sure that you position your camera a little bit that you can see all the materials and things that we're going to do together. So I'm going to do the same. So we're going to have 2 cups and a straw, your dishwashing liquid, and your water. So when everyone's ready, we'll just go right into it. Follow the steps together. Okay. So just pour an equal amount of water into each cup or each glass that you have. About 3/4 will do. Okay. So you just choose one of the cups that you're going to pump some soap into it. Okay, you can put 1 tablespoon or you can put 2 to 3 pumps of soap. Okay, let's do that right now. Okay, so using your straw, we're going to put in the glass of just the water. And using about 5 to 10 seconds, we are going to blow into it. All right, let's start doing that together. I think we just created some bubbles. Just observe how the bubbles are like. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to blow into the glass of water with the water and soap. Give it a little bit of stir. And the same thing, we're going to blow into it in about 10 to 20 seconds as well. Observe the bubbles. Wow, that's a lot of bubbles that you created there. Look at where the bubbles are positioned. And let's look at the glass of water, whether there's any more bubbles, and the glass with water and soap, and the bubbles that you have formed. What do you notice about the two cups? Maybe you can say some of your observation and comparison between the two cups. You want to start with, Christine, you want to start first, your comparison between the two?
Okay, both make bubbles, but one of them actually has more.
Mm-hmm.
The cup with soap make more bubbles.
Okay.
And actually, it actually lasts longer compared to the ones in the water. The
Yes.
bubbles actually pops away.
That's good observation. That's right. We have a lot more bubbles in the cup with the soap, and it lasts longer. As you can see, it looks like, you know, bubbles that you have when you pour a gassy drink or something, and it doesn't pop. See, it only pops when you touch it. So why do you think this has happened?
The soap actually allows the bubbles to stay longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because the soap has glycerin and it makes the lining of the bubbles thicker.
That's quite true. Yeah.
And also, the bubbles actually stick together and doesn't break easily due to the lesser surface tension.
Surface tension. That's a new phrase, a new term that we're listening, we're hearing now. And it's something that we need to do another investigation about. But surface tension is correct. And maybe one of you can help me Google it up. What does surface tension means? Anyone?
It actually says that the soap molecules crowd to the surface, trying to avoid the water.
Mm-hmm.
When water molecules separate from each other, it actually decreases the surface tension and allows the bubbles to form.
There's a bit of a jargon there, isn't it? So after this, you can try blowing the bubbles again and see whether what you say is true. Actually, there's another experiment that you can do about surface tension where you can blow bubbles into bubbles. But now, that's probably for another time. Now, can you take another piece of paper, and I will ask you if you can write down your thoughts about bubbles again, but now with new information that after this experiment, after what we have investigated and listening to what your friends and colleagues have shared about. And it will again take turns to share about it. Let's take about a few seconds. Okay, when you're ready, maybe one of you can start sharing about bubbles. After this
Bubbles is not just about having air inside.
Okay.
Bubbles is a reaction between the air, water, and the soap molecules.
Mm-hmm.
Bubbles can actually stay longer with more glycerin in the soap. It actually allows the bubbles to form a thicker layer, so that's why it doesn't pop that easily.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm pretty sure at this point you're wondering, why are we even doing about bubbles for this workshop? Business, you know, and if you would like to know, each of you have just gone through a very summarized version of the project-based approach. It's a curriculum approach called the project-based. Has any of you heard about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Yes.
think you must have heard a little bit about it, but experiencing it is also something different. So such a simple word, bubbles, and something simple to play with, and yet so many wonderful and exciting, complicated terms and concepts that we can explore about. So now we are going to look at, I'm going to share a bit of more information about project-based approach. If you can take out the handout that I have emailed to you before this with the pamphlet, you can, as we go along through the PowerPoint slides, you can also start filling in some of the statements or questions that are there. Okay. Can you see the slide? All right, so project-based approach, wonderful. And like play bubbles all day, PBA. So the three stages, there are three stages to project-based approach. Stage one is getting started. And that's when I've asked you to write down the words that you can think about when I say the word bubble. So that's when we gather past information. What do you know about bubbles? And when we start a topic with your children, that's what you first start with. You want to know what the children know about that topic. So let's see where they're all starting at. Do they know a lot? Do they know a little bit? Before you get into stage two. So stage two is when we do the experiment where we investigate and we gather and collect more information. So from some of the words that you came up with in stage one, which was about bubbles in water and bubbles in soap, I've asked you to do an experiment to compare between the bubbles between the water and soap. And that's what you do with children, you start investigating. And then stage three is when you can conclude the project after you gather all this information, new skills, new knowledge. We also ask the children what their thoughts are when they finish and investigating and exploring about it, which is what you did. After we finished the experiment, I asked you again to write down some of the words and thoughts about bubbles. And a lot of you actually came up with new terms and more complicated concepts as well. So what are the key features of project-based approach? It actually taps on prior knowledge, what they already know about it. From there, you actually learn and gain new experiences. So it's an extra opportunity to develop knowledge, skills, and disposition. There are many ways that you can use to investigate other than in the classrooms, which is indoors, and it can also be outdoors where you go out and look for field trips to do with the topic that you're looking at. The reason why we want to choose project-based approach is it allows children to actually work independently. So you look at children as active learners. They are part of it. They are able to apply their skills to learn more. And then from there, they also can build teamwork and also group skills. So now I would like to throw back to you. When we plan our curriculum, what are the 6 learning domains that we need to look at? Maybe Christine, you want to share with the group?
L&L, language and literacy, numeracy, motor skills like the gross and fine, social and emotional, DOW, and the last one is aesthetics and creative expression.
Yep, wonderful. You got it all correct. That's right. These are the 6 learning domains that we need to look at when we want to start a project as well. So the project title that we did today is Bubbles. It will be in the middle of our web. And around the web will be the 6 learning domains that we need to look at when we plan our activities with the children. So now I'll give you some time to think about learning experiences where you can explore with the children on the topic about bubbles. And then some of you can share your ideas, okay? So maybe Lillian, would you like to try for the first 3 learning domains?
Okay, so for language and literacy, the children can do role play. The teachers are also able to read, to share some stories titled like The Magic Bubbles by Isabel author. And the children also can do creative writing. As for numeracy, like what you have mentioned earlier on, just now we are supposed to put either three pumps of water, 3 pumps of soap, or either 1 tablespoon of soap. So that's where the children are able to know the estimation of water versus the soap detergent. As for gross and fine motor skills, we can give the children the pipe cleaner for them to actually create the shapes that they want. And not only that, they are also able to catch the bubble with different kind of things that they can find at home.
That's good. I think a very good ideas that you have there. Maybe Pooh can share with the group what are some of the ideas you came up with for the next 3 learning domains.
Okay, so for social emotional, we can actually have a show and tell so that no children will have the confidence to actually explore more of the unknown, and also they'll be able to like respect different opinions. They can actually share with everybody like whatever they have found out. And also for the discovery of the world, like how what Lilian said, after making the pipe cleaner, right, they can actually use that to actually blow bubbles and also use different materials to discover or predict like bubbles. I mean, for example, straws, different types of straws. And also for aesthetic creative expression, they can do like bubble painting or bubble colors.
Great. Thank you so much for your sharing. So as you can see, a lot of these learning dispositions are all intertwined together in one big learning experience. So it's not just focused on one. So just by the experiment that we did just now, it actually covers quite a few of these learning domains. So our project-based approach is not constricted in the classroom only, like I mentioned just now. There are other ways that children can gather information. So maybe one of you can think about what other ways can children investigate about a topic instead of just being in the classroom.
They can actually go on field trips. We can actually invite guest speakers to come into the classroom, bring in artifacts to the class, YouTube videos, storybooks, and using of concrete materials.
Great, that's very good ideas. And I think these are quite achievable as educators. It's not that far-fetched. And some of the things we've already done together, it's just that the topic right now comes from the children and we're doing it with the children. So concluding this project, how we conclude the project when we've done all the gathering of information, investigating with the children, what you need to do as educators or teachers of the class, we actually summarize what the children had learned, such as the new knowledge that they've gathered and the skills as well. And then the teacher will then evaluate the project. You can actually take a step further and do a learning chart, story, all the pictures that you've done, you print it out and put it in a nice chart where children can actually reflect on their learning as well. But this is another different dimension already. So what we do now is I would understand if you feel a bit overwhelmed by this new information, and not to worry, we are not going to be jumping the gun and suddenly implementing this project-based approach in our class like tomorrow. We will be working together with every one of you. There'll be follow-up plans that we will do as a team and individually together, one-to-one or together, where we will learn more about the project-based approach before we will implement it and include the children into it. And I will also want to find out a little bit more about your thoughts and what you think the possibilities would be in implementing this project-based approach in our school. So if everyone's good, before we end this session, the workshop, I would like to thank everybody for attending and taking your time in a busy morning. I know it's a Saturday, so just the last bit, if you can scan this QR code and complete the short survey of today's workshop, it will give us a better idea of how else we can do and how we can change the format of workshop, and then maybe you can learn a bit more and we can do a little bit more sharing with one another after this. So once we finish this survey, I would like to thank you again for your time, and then we can leave and we'll see you in school with the children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.